Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Grief. I am your host, Lakecia, and this is the City of Hearts, where we dive deep into real conversations. We explore raw emotions and we have honest discussions. So get real, get seated, hold on to your seat, because it gets real when we discuss the journeys of loss, love, resilience, and coping. How are you all tonight out there in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube land? I am so happy to be here with you all tonight. Tonight, I have with me a special guest. Her name is Keisha Brown, and Keisha is a prominent author, advocate, speaker, and a playwright out of New Jersey. Them Jersey girls in the house. Keisha is a phenomenal woman, but tonight I won't read her bio because her story speaks volumes on its own. So she's a true definition of turning your pain and grief into purpose. So let's welcome Keisha. Hey girl, how
Hey!
are you tonight?
I am blessed. I am here. I am present.
Yes. Well, look, we've been pressing through, pressing through. So I'm excited to have you on the show with me tonight.
I am
And we
excited
are
to
going
be
to
here.
definitely dive in and dive deep, and we're going to just let it flow. And
Okay.
wherever you want to take it to, we're going to go there. But right now, girl, give me a moment. That's what I'm looking for. Bam, right there.
Look at you, all professional
Yes,
stuff. I love it.
girl, look, we got to get it going. We got to make sure the people know who we got on stage with us tonight. So you see it right there. Okay, so Keisha, I know I read a little snippet of who you are, but
Mhm.
why don't you tell the people from your words who you are?
Well, I am not just an author, speaker, inspirational speaker, I call myself.
Mm.
Um, a playwright, as you said. I am a mother. I am a wife. I am Yaya. Don't call me grandma. um,
So
I
that's
am,
information itself because in your bio, I didn't know you was a granny or yaya.
yeah, I
I
am.
did not know you were married. You didn't tell me that, girl.
Yeah, there's a lot that I don't, publicly share for many
Yes.
reasons, but yes, I'm very happily married. And
Awesome.
I have two young men in my life.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I am blessed.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So I know that tonight we're not focusing on the playwright, but I'm interested. I'm
Okay.
interested in knowing something about the playwright. So just share something that you would like to share about it. Um, Obviously, it's something that you're passionate about because you do it. So tell us what's going on with that.
Well, okay, so me being a playwright started many, many years ago. I would say about at least 9 years. Um, I did my first play, and along with me and my spouse, we produced a play. And I believe it was in New York.
Okay.
Um, we cast it for New York. I'm from New Jersey, but we traveled from New Jersey to New York for rehearsals on the weekend, and we had a full production. Um, my passion for playwright just came out of my love for telling stories.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
That's amazing. So, girl, you have many hats, many hats. So
yeah,
you're a warrior.
yeah. Well, I don't. Well, if you say I'm a warrior, I'm a warrior.
You are a
I'ma
warrior.
own it. I'ma own it.
Yes, own it, girl, own it. So I will say this here. You use a word that caught my attention. Um, it caught my attention, and I actually titled our segment behind this word.
Mhm.
But can you explain to the people what a previver is?
A pre-viver, okay, according to my definition, because I'm kind of radical and I like to do things against the grain. A pre-viver in society is um, a person who has a genetic disposition
Mhm.
um, or higher risk of getting cancer. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have cancer. Um, and they are just a higher risk of getting cancer. My definition of previver is someone who has the courage and the guts to go against the grain and do something for them and for their own well-being. Um, so that's how I internalize it.
Hey, that's amazing in itself. I know that's it. When I saw the word, I was like pre-viber, and it's sort of what I expected.
Hmm.
Um, but it just speak volumes because it's like, hey, look, I'm gonna handle my business. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You ain't getting me. It's a word of um not being undefeated. That's the word
Right.
I'm looking for.
Right.
Undefeated. I'm undefeated. So I
Absolutely.
love it. I love it. I love it. So how would you um so let's talk about your journey as a pre-viver. Um what sparked that journey? Where was the beginning of the pre-viver's journey for you?
Well, I had a series of things that happened.
Mhm.
First, I had multiple cysts that was showing up in my breast tissue. And it would usually happen like, I guess, every couple of years. I would have to go in and see the surgeon, and he would remove it, and then they will monitor it. And because I have a high chance of getting breast cancer because of my family history, I was really concerned about that. So, but to rewind a little bit, um, before I became a previver, I was also dealing with Crohn's disease, and so I got really sick, and with the Crohn's, not knowing that that's what it was, I didn't know what
Right.
was going on with me. Um, but long story short, I ended up getting diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and then right after, when I finally got my footing back and healed from Crohn's disease,
Mhm.
I got the genetic test done. And with that came a genetic disposition of me having a high risk of getting cancer. And they call it, you ever heard of the BRCA gene? Um,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
they they say I have the ATM gene, which is a gene that puts you at a higher risk than BRCA.
Mhm.
So with that, I decided that I was going to be proactive. Um, and it was a hard decision to make at first. It was not easy at all. But looking back in retrospect, I really believe that I did the right thing.
Wow. So we have so much in common, more than I thought. I actually had to do the genetic testing as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I do have the BRCA gene.
See?
Um, I've suffered with breast mastitis for years.
Hmm.
And it comes back like every couple of years. But also I did have cancer cells
Hmm.
and they were removed in 2016, but it was so early. It was like the early stages. So they told me that, after the medication and the proactiveness that I took, I should be okay. And I have been okay. Thank God.
Hmm.
I've been
Hmm.
okay. Um, wow. But I had a partial mastectomy,
Okay.
as being proactive in it.
Right.
So I can completely relate to you on that.
Hmm.
Um, wow.
Yeah.
So you actually made the decision yourself to go ahead and have the
Yes.
procedure.
I, it wasn't an easy decision. I did consult with my immediate family members, the people that
Mhm.
I adore and I respect, which is my mama and them,
Yeah.
and my cousin and my two young men and my spouse. Um, it was very important to me that I get their support, because
Mhm.
it was such a hard decision, and it wasn't. And they all, I allowed them to say what they wanted to say and feel how they wanted to feel. The
Mhm.
one thing about this choice, it wasn't a choice based just upon me. I had to take in how my spouse would feel. I had to take in what my mama thought. I had to,
Mhm.
I had to listen attentively to their thoughts and say, okay, I hear you, I understand, but this is my body
Yes.
and this is my life. And
Absolutely.
I want to live. And so, if this is going to help prolong my living, then
Mhm.
I'm going to do whatever it takes so that I can be here for my family. So, my why, as I go back to, is my family, um,
Yes.
my grandson, my spouse. That is my why as to why I chose to have the surgery in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. So with in choosing to have the surgery, after you reach the initial shock of the discovery, the diagnosis,
Hmm.
um, what were some of the challenges you faced personally, um, with that situation, with discovering that and making this decision to, go forward with the procedure? I guess I'm getting at how did that affect you mentally, emotionally? You know?
It was definitely an emotional roller coaster ride. I had
Mhm.
to sit with it. I believe it was a matter of maybe 2 months, um, between the time that I decided that I was going to have the surgery and then actually meeting with the surgeon and going through all the paperwork and the necessary pre-op testing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, my thought process was up and down at first. It was, am I making the right decision? What does recovery look like for me? Um, will I still be sexy? Will my spouse still find me attractive? Will, you know, those are the type of things that was running through my mind, day in and day out. And then I got to a point where I prayed and I said to God, okay, this did not catch you by surprise. So you know about it. You're the same God that healed me from Crohn's disease. You're the same God that was with me when I was in the hospital. You're
Yeah.
the same God that gave me the strength to endure that process. And you're the same God that healed my mother from breast cancer. So,
Yes.
knowing that, I tied it into my faith. I really held on to my faith and said, whatever happened is going to happen.
Mhm.
God already knows what's going to happen.
Yes.
And if I was to go to glory, I know where I'm going.
Hmm. Yes.
So it was an emotional roller coaster ride for me. I did seek counseling.
Mhm.
I got a therapist, um, mainly because when you go through something like this as a major surgery, you can't dump on people, meaning I'm hurt. I don't want to bring all my stuff to my spouse every day. Um, I don't want to go to work and bring it to my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I turn to? Yes, I turn to God, but we all need somebody here, in the
Absolutely.
living in this in the fleshly realm. We need
Yes.
to be heard. And so I turned to a therapist who helped me um, with that mindset of, okay, you did it, it happened, now what? Um,
Yes.
my recovery was rough. Um, I had some infections afterwards. Um, Now, mind you, I live in New Jersey, but my surgery was in New York at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Um, and I chose that because my grandmother, who died from breast cancer, that was the hospital that my grandfather took her to. And because I know they're one of the top hospitals in the nation for cancer, for breast cancer, and many cancers, that is, um, I said, okay, if they take my insurance, that's where I want to go. I want to go to the
You
best.
needed a piece of solace. You wanted to feel
Yes.
safe in
And
in
knowing, right? And knowing
yes,
because
absolutely.
you just and I thank God that I did have that. I had the insurance. I had the support system of my family. I had the backing of my doctors, my therapists, because I needed all of them in order to get through this process.
Yes. That's a lot. That's amazing. So you said that you had your recovery
Hmm.
was a journey in itself.
Yes.
You spoke about the physical infections and
Hmm.
things of that nature. Um, did you experience any emotional grief or mental grief with the drastic changes that had come about with your physical appearance?
Yes.
I know that had to be a lot to take in. Would you like to touch
Hmm.
on that briefly?
It was. I don't think it really hit me until the morning I had to remove my bandages. I think I was riding on adrenaline from the time I had my surgery. And as I'm recovering, I'm in pain. So you're sleeping a lot. You're not really up
Mhm.
thinking. And the moment it came for the bandages to come off, I believe that's when it hit me. Oh my God, I don't have any breasts. And then to look at myself in the mirror was like, what did I do? Um, I went from what did I do to why did I do this to myself
Yeah.
to
So you went through
feeling,
the cycles of grief.
yeah,
Yeah.
to uh I'm not sexy. Um, God forbid if me and my spouse broke up, will I find another me? Um, how do I love myself as this new person that I am with this new body? Um, will my spouse find me attractive? How is sex going to be or intimacy is going to be? Um, it was a lot. It was a
Mm.
lot to take in, but I was able to put things in perspective as time went on. the more time went on, I went through a series of depression.
Mhm.
I went through a season of low, I guess, low self esteem,
Yeah.
is what you would call it. And I don't suffer from low self esteem, but because it was playing on my mental,
Mhm.
you're not beautiful, you're not sexy, you're not this, you're not that. Nobody's going to want you, nobody's going to love you. No. And then I had to get to the point where no, I am beautiful.
Mhm.
I am healed. I am the apple of my father's eye. I
Yes.
am his very own. I had to rebuild my confidence and the new me because I chose not to have reconstructive surgery.
Yes.
I
So
could have easily went and got implants, but because I always go against the grain and I don't live according to what society says I need, who says you need boobs?
mhm.
I said if I do decide to do that, it's going to be because I want to do it, not
Yes.
because society says a woman needs to have breasts in order to feel like a woman. That is
And
absolute.
that's that warrior in you. Oh my God, Keisha. So, um, and that was, one of my questions that I wanted to ask you, um, about the choice,
Right.
because I knew that, you could have the reconstructive surgery. Um, if I would have decided to move forward with the the double, they told me that I could take take it from other areas of my body and
Mm-hmm.
have it placed there. And
Yes.
so you stood and said no, you
I,
know. That's amazing.
I said no because number one, my recovery was already brutal. My body was already at a point of we had enough. Um, because I went from Crohn's disease to this. Um, Emotionally, I was spent. I was
Mhm.
tired of going back and forth to the doctors. Um, and I really just said, enough is enough. I went through enough. And to give myself a break because I felt like if I chose to go through with it, the reconstructive surgery during that time, because
Mhm.
actually it was supposed to be maybe like a month or two after my surgery.
Right.
They was going to go right back in, take the skin from my stomach and do the deflap and all of that stuff. But
Mhm.
um and I thought, oh, I could have a tummy tuck. Hey. you know, but I said, for what? For who? Who are you doing this for? Um and I really had to do a lot of inventory. I had to really look at myself in the mirror and really love me again. Like love
Yes.
me, the good, the bad, the flaws, the all of it. Just love me. And I began to just really appreciate me. I think it taught me how that the outside, the stuff we have is so superficial. But what really shines is his light. His God's light shines.
Yeah,
So it
absolutely.
doesn't matter if I have 38 double D's or if I have a big butt or if you have, it doesn't matter because
Yes.
my self worth does not come from my body parts. My self worth comes from who I am and
Yes.
who I follow, which is
Yes.
Jesus.
And that's the true definition of loving yourself. Because society and we
Mhm.
place so much emphasis on the physical appearance
Yes.
and to be able to love yourself in spite of,
Hmm.
that's a beautiful and powerful thing, Keisha. It really is.
It 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 was God. It really is.
Mhm.
It's really God in the midst of it. And I tell people all the time, if it had not been for my faith, I know I would not been able to get through what I went through.
Girl. Like grandma and them used to say, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would I be?
Where would I be?
Woo, where would I be?
Because
Yes, ma'am. So what so we've covered your journey,
hmm
you know, where was the starting point of the turning all of that pain into your power? Because you have created a phenomenal platform. And I know from your mission and knowing what your platform is, I know, but you got to tell them. Uh, I know it came from your journey
it did.
and grabbing hold to your purpose
hmm
and walking in it.
hmm
So, where did you start? What was the spark for the Healing Exchange?
The healing exchange was, it stemmed from, I ran from it, first of all. I ran from it. I
Don't we
believe
all? Don't we all?
I was like, no, not me. Um, everybody think I like to be in front of the camera, and I don't.
Mm,
I
I
don't
can
like
relate.
I don't like to be watched. I don't like to be on the camera. It was something that I really struggled with in the beginning, and I questioned God a lot. And not because I didn't know what my purpose was, but mainly because of fear. Um, I had to get delivered from people. I had to get to a place of, if you're going to be for God, then you have to get into a place of being talked about, being um, ridiculed, being judged, um,
Oh,
because
yeah,
anything worth having is going to come with its own stuff. So
absolutely.
as I was healing, I kept a notebook or a journal, and God began to download everything He wanted me to do. And I just began to write it down. And in that was help other people share their story. That's part of my mission,
Mhm.
is to inspire other people to heal from their past and to help them get unstuck so that they can move forward and heal. And that's where the healing exchange, it started out as healing conversations,
Okay. And then
but
in that, it was birth to
yeah,
much more.
it became the healing exchange because somebody else had the healing conversations, and I didn't want, as I'm tagging, or promoting, it was just like, okay, there's a lot of healing conversations out there.
Mhm.
So I had to switch it up real quick and said, okay, let's do the healing exchange. And um that's how it came about.
Yes, so okay, so that's how the Healing Exchange started,
Yes.
but you were able to also God was able to also birth other, um, things
Mm-hmm.
through you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember reading about the advocacy where you actually advocate to women and to people about the importance of preventative care, the importance of knowing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where you stand medically.
Yes.
And I thought that was amazing. You know, that's a lot within itself because a lot of us, I know now I'm more um conscious about my health.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, no,
Right.
if I could find something over the counter to temporarily fix it, I was doing that, you know, whether it was a cough drop or cough medicine or a pain
Uh-huh.
pill, you know. But um that doesn't help the
Right.
underlying issues, the root of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took your advocacy program as plucking the root, you
Mm.
know, and I just want you to touch
Share
on that a
about
little
it.
bit because yes.
I decided I decided that a long time ago that everything that I went through from my childhood trauma to being sick to dealing with the Crohn's to dealing with the double mastectomy, and I decided that everything that I went through, that I would turn it into something positive so that my suffering is not in vain. So
Yes.
that other women coming behind me who's about to face similar situations um, will know that they're not alone. Will know that I know what it's like to be sick.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to be in pain. I know what it's like to be suicidal. I know what it's like to feel unworthy and feel ugly. I know
Yes.
all of those things. And because I know those things, I allow God to mold me and shape my story in a way that it will help strengthen the women that I'm assigned to.
Yes.
So I don't know if I answered your question.
You did. You did. You did, and thank you for that. And you know, when you talk, you have so much passion and dedication for it, and I just be drawn in. I be like, yes, you know, just because it's just amazing to see to know your story,
Right.
to know where you have been, and to know where you are now, presently.
Yes.
And God is giving a glimpse of where you're going. So it's just an amazing journey altogether. And I'm
We
just so happy for you.
we have I told you we have a lot in common that we realize.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. So I know that through your journey you also birthed a book
Yes.
and became an author. And
Yes.
the title of your book is Facing the Unknown.
Mhm.
Um just don't give them the book because they got to go and purchase the book. There you go. But just give us a summary of um, the layout, the format of your book, and the purpose behind it.
Okay, so the book came about my experience going through with the double mastectomy, and I talk
Hmm.
about what my mental process was. I talk about traveling back and forth to the doctors and meeting with the surgeon and certain questions I asked. And um, I even talk about support groups, how important it is to link up with
Yeah.
support groups that can help, bridge that gap between healing and advocacy, and which I'm freshly new into advocacy.
Yeah.
Um, God put it on my heart to become a patient advocate so that I can help other people. But as
Mhm.
far as the book, it goes into um, how your diet plays a part in your healing process.
Oh, yes.
We don't talk about that enough. I mean, I know we get the medicine, we get the medication, we have the pain, but ultimately, what we put in our bodies can help heal our bodies faster, if we just will put the right things in. So I talk about different supplements, um, and just sharing my story in a way where anybody that will pick it, anybody that's going through a similar journey would be able to relate to it.
Absolutely. So that was actually on my list as well. I wanted to know. I know we talk about the medications, of course, that you had to take, but me personally, um, I gravitate towards holistic
Mm.
healing,
Uh-huh.
because I know that, like you said, we can heal ourselves through foods.
Mm-hmm.
We can heal ourselves through, just a change in our habits.
Yes.
And so I wanted to, ask you like some of the things that you incorporated, if you wanted to, talk about specific foods or not, but I just me personally, I know that I had to cut down on red meat,
Mm-hmm.
um, pork, and I used to love me some pork chops and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. But
Right.
um, I started to pay attention to. Well, let me back up. I cut it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a craving to go back to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I went back to it. But then I could feel
Mm-hmm.
the difference in my
Right.
body. I could feel the sluggish
Mm-hmm.
feeling. I could feel the going back into the slumps mentally. I
Right.
could feel it all, and so I knew that that was not for me.
Right.
Um, and so it kind of forced itself on out of my life again because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but would you say that? Well, let me ask you, what is your nutrition? Do you just eat
I eat.
or you eat? There you go. Because I know some people resort to being vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian,
Mm-mm.
um, but you just eat. Ain't no wrong
I
with that,
eat.
girl.
I'm a big girl, and I eat. But the one thing that helped me in my journey was
Mhm.
juicing.
Okay.
My spouse would juice for me, especially when you're feeling the way that you're feeling and your body is healing. You don't necessarily want to eat a lot, but
Mhm.
you still need to get some nutrients in. So we had a juicer, and my spouse would juice for me, and that was my go-to when I started to feel like weak, or if I
Yeah.
felt like my immune system is low. In order to boost up my immune system, that's what I would revert to, was the
Yeah.
juicing. And I still eat.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We like to eat. We like to eat, but for me, I really had to cut back on certain foods. Like it just took me to a different place. It
Right.
was like I don't want to get out the bed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
Right.
And why am I crying? I don't even have a reason to be crying.
Hmm.
And then I can eat certain foods, and I'm just
Right.
jolly,
Right.
happy. And watermelon was one for me that, as a child, I did not like. I
What?
did not like watermelon as a child, but now,
Watermelon is good for you.
yes, it is. Now I know that, and then as an adult, I have incorporated it into my life, and I will sit and eat a whole watermelon by myself now. But as a child,
Hmm.
you couldn't get me to touch watermelon.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, our diet really plays a part in our healing journey. It really
Yes,
does.
absolutely. So where would you say would be a good starting point for women um to start taking preventative measures?
Mm.
Miss Pat, look, I'm from the South, but as a child, watermelon was not on my list. But I can join you now with eating that. But yeah, so what would you say would be a good starting point for women to start taking preventive measures with their health, specifically with like finding out about the genes of cancer, and men also,
Right.
because men
Absolutely.
deal with it as well. So,
Hmm. I would say listen to your body, number one.
mm,
Preventative measures, I would say make sure you go to your doctor and get checked. A lot of us um, may experience some type of pains and stuff like that, and we just, eh, it's nothing.
mm,
You can't see on the inside of your body. And not to be a hypochondriac, but you have to have that discernment of, okay, I need to go get checked.
mm,
And as we get older, it's imperative that we go get the screenings and um, the colon cancer screenings, the mammograms. Um, it can really save your life because we all know the sooner, if you do have any type of cancer, the sooner you discover it, your chances of surviving is high.
yes,
So, which we need to go to the doctors and really just stay on top of our health and don't ever take our health for granted because it can easily be taken from you.
mm,
So, I would just say, just go to your doctor, get the screenings. If you have the insurance, use it, and just be proactive.
yes. So I do see someone who came on here, and it was hilarious to me because if I'm not mistaken, Noonie B. Sweets is from Memphis, Tennessee, too. So, Miss Pat, to double back to your question, I guess it's a Memphis thing. We don't just care for watermelon like that. But I can eat some cucumbers, but we don't just care for watermelon like that, I guess, because she's from Memphis as well. So, thank you for the backup, Miss Noonie B. Sweets.
That is so
But yes, I'm just so grateful that you were able to take some time out of your schedule today and come and speak with us, because I feel like this topic was something that was crucial, not just to women health, but to all health,
right.
especially in our race, because we will put our health on the back burner until we can't no more,
Hmm.
and for you to take that proactive measure and make the choices you made to save your life, that's phenomenal within itself.
To God be.
Phenomenal. Yes.
Well, I appreciate you having me. It was a pleasure, and
Def-
this,
Definitely.
this is what
So
it's about.
you ain't going away that quick while you
Oh,
try to wrap up the show. Look, you're not leaving that fast. So you have other projects and other things that God is birthing through you. Yep. And look, I know all about that, Miss Pat. I'm coming to Houston.
she said
And
when you come to Texas.
she's gonna have a whole hill set of water. Ooh, girl. I may have to run from that trip. But yeah, so I want them to know, to be on the lookout for what everything else that you have going on. I do know about one specific project, and I think I know about another, but I don't want to toot your horn. I want you to toot your own horn. So tell them about them projects, girl.
Which one?
Well, we working on one together, so you can
Oh,
start there and then keep on
yes,
going.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes, the main one, the one that first in line. Love Language of Grief. I will be one of
Yes,
the co-authors of this phenomenal book with some amazing women. I am very grateful for the opportunity. Shout out to Danny for
yes,
bringing me into the fold and telling
yes.
me
Shout
about
out, Miss
it.
Danny.
Yeah, she is amazing. I call her boss lady. Um, you know, I'm I'm just excited. I have a lot of projects coming. But the one thing I'm learning to do, one thing at a time, is something that
Yes.
I have to do now, one thing at a time. Um, but yeah, Love Language of Grief. When it's coming, what, June?
June of
Oh,
2024.
June
Yes.
2024. So we're going to need everybody to help us
Yes.
push this book so that lives can be changed. And not
Yes.
only that, so that our stories can be heard,
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. God is moving.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. And I know you have some more projects, but we're gonna let you release them on your own in your own time. It's okay. And I want them to know how they can follow you, how they can reach you. And then I got one more thing that I need you to do before you try to slide on out of here, okay?
Okay. um Reach me at, okay, my Facebook is it's so long, I hate saying it. It's KMB Speak, the number 2, motivate, the letter U. um or you could just type in Think Higher Studios and that'll pop up, and that's my brand page. So
Think Higher Studios.
yeah, Think Higher Studios. Or you could type in my personal page, which is Quiche Writer Speaker.
All
And
right.
that's it.
Well, I'm gonna put that up on the screen for you.
And if you want to be on my platform and you have a healing journey, healing story, whether you have a product, service, a book you want to promote, you can email me at kmbministries@gmail.com or info at kimaenterprises.com. I'm everywhere, so wherever you choose to find me.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So thank you so much for that. But before you slide on out of that chair and try to get out of here, I would like to give you the opportunity. This is something that I just recently started, but I think it is so necessary. Um, Life is short, and we need to start learning how to give people their flowers while they're here
Mm-hmm.
to receive them
Mm-hmm.
versus waiting until they've
Right.
already exited this
Mm-hmm.
realm. So take this moment and give your flowers to whomever you want to give your flowers to.
Wow. I want to give my flowers to my spouse because when I was sick and I couldn't bathe and I couldn't wash and I couldn't feed myself and I couldn't do a lot of things because of the pain, my spouse was the one holding me up and praying over me and just encouraging me to fight. And I'm forever grateful, forever grateful. And so,
That's a blessing. Oh my God. To have not only someone who's willing to go through it with you and to be there and see you through the downs as well as the ups, but to have someone who can pray
mm-hmm,
over you.
yes.
pray for you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you tonight, Queen.
Yes.
I look forward to this project and being on some more platforms with you. Let's go, let's get it. And I just look forward with connecting with you throughout the future and just seeing you grow and flourish and just keep doing what you're doing, walking in your purpose. So think she left me really quick, but it's okay. I just want to thank you all for tuning in tonight to Let's Talk Grief. It's been real and raw, and I hope that you guys were able to have some type of impact on tonight. And thank you. And thank you, Noonie B Sweets. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care.